to see what happens.
Yeah, Clayster did favor that early expansion last time. I'm going to adjust your picture real quick because I forgot to do that last round. I was so distracted by this nameplate. And this is actually the perfect position Clayster wants to be in. We have Clayster here as the orange Protoss in the top left, and we have Ditto as the pink Terran at the bottom right. And these are all the way across the map from each other, and this is going to lead to some great macro play. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Clayster go with that early expand again. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, it's the ideal position for him, and see right now some banter going on between him and Ditto, trying to flesh out the 1-1-1 again. Just more psychological warfare here. Hopefully he can buy himself a little more time.
The pylon's going to go down for Clayster, and he's going to send his probe out right away. And on maps this large, it's actually a bit advantageous for someone to send a probe out that early, because by the time you actually get to the enemy's base, you'll actually be able to see what they're building.
Yep. Definitely, and of course you've got the 4 Xel'Naga watchtowers that are covering the center of the map, so control of those is certainly important for a map as large as this. Need as much sight as possible. So
the SUV is now leaving Ditto's base, and he's going to start his little adventure. And actually, both players are scouting the wrong base first.
Yep.
Before moving on to where the player could actually be.
And barracks going down right now for Ditto, so he's getting that wall off done pretty quickly. Might actually be able to block out Clayster if he doesn't get his probe there soon enough.
Yep, I believe there's only one slot left in between that. One little supply depot here right behind the barracks, and it'll be completely walled off.
Looks like the probe might be going the right way this time, though. I think he's going to make it through without too much trouble.
Yep, it does appear the probe's going to go in, but he would be able to trap that probe if he does drop that supply depot. Yep, Clayster's going to go right back to his old tricks. He's going to be attacking this SCV, which is going to go a little below half health.
Ah, and he switched off him. Too bad. He could have finished him. His probe went for the wrong SCV. At this point, he's just trying to harass him as long as he can. And right now you see Ditto's SCV finally making its way towards Clayster's base. And Orbital Command on its way for Ditto right there, and Cybernetics Core on its way for Clayster.
Yep, Ditto did drop that supply depot, so that probe is going to be walled in, so when that first Marine pops out, he's going to be able to clean that up no problem. The SCV for Ditto comes into Clayster's base, and he's going to see the Cybernetics Core on the way. It's a pretty standard toss opening, so not really too much you can gather from that. But he is going to notice there isn't the one Zealot that you traditionally see.
Looks like the probe finally going down. A couple Marines just took it out right now. And, let's see, that SUV just leave Clayster's base? Yep. Sitting right outside Clayster's base, sitting in his natural, so.
Yep, he's going to be looking for any sort of fast expand, which personally, myself, I would expect some sort of fast expand. And that SUV is going to be great information, because if he doesn't see the expand, then he knows some sort of push might be coming.
Yep, second barracks going down right now for Ditto. So, not looking like he's going to get an expansion out right now. And as you said before, looks like Clayster's just dropping his Nexus down, so he's working on his expansion.
Yep, this is a very similar build we saw Clayster do last game. And I'm actually really surprised. We see the third barracks actually going down for Ditto. And I really expected a one-racks fast expand out of him.
But you see the command center's on its way, so he is going to be expanding soon, but he's got a couple bunkers coming up right now. Wants to make sure it's well defended before any possible attacks come from Clayster. And Clayster right now has a probe at one of the Xel'Naga watchtowers and a stalker at the other, so he's working on increasing his map awareness.
2 more gateways are on the way for Clayster. And it's always good to have the same number of production buildings as your enemy, so it'll be 3 gateways to 3 barracks. And you know, each game so far we've seen Ditto favor this more marine-based army, and that's not something you normally see in a Terran vs. Protoss game. You normally see a much more Marauder-heavy army.
And still no gas, actually, for Ditto right now, so really going to be focusing on those Marines.
Yeah, in fact, we have a 4th barracks on its way right now. We have the Forge coming up for Clayster. This is going to allow him to start his upgrades, maybe drop a cannon or 2 if he's worried for any sort of drops. Or maybe even if he wants to be a bit aggressive with them.
Yeah. Right now, Clayster's got a pretty small army, just a couple of sentries that he warped in right now, and of course that stalker that's monitoring the watchtower, and 9 Marines out right now 8 of which are in those 2 bunkers protecting that expansion. So looks like he's taking the early defensive posture again, just wants to make sure he's not going to get rushed by anything. But Clayster clearly not in a hurry this time.
Yeah, we do see the armor upgrade on its way for Clayster. He is dropping a 4th gateway, warping in a couple of units here and there when he can afford it. The Robo facility is on the way now, so we'll see if he decides to go for some White Raw style Warp Prism rushes or drops, or if he wants to go for a heavy Colossus army right off the bat.
Yeah, and certainly that'd be, I mean, with the amount of Marines that Ditto has been pumping out, a Colossus would be just the thing. Yeah. Oh, looks like he's working on the destructible rocks there, looking to take a 2nd expansion right now. Clayster has got those 3 zealots and bringing over a 3rd sentry to knock those out of the way.
There's definitely nothing more scary than a Protoss sitting comfortably on 3 bases.
Yeah. Not an ideal position for Ditto. And actually right now, income's pretty similar. Ditto's behind a few harvesters, but he's got about a 200 mineral lead. Of course, those mules helping out in that instance. And gas is about the same for both. But of course, that 3rd expansion will make a huge difference for Clayster.
Yep, we do see Ditto building up little minerals. I'm interested to see what he'll be transitioning to. The Ghost Academy just got finished, and he does have that Mobius reactor upgrade on the way, which will allow Ghost to start with more energy.
Yeah, and Combat Shield just about to finish as well, so clearly he's looking for an infantry-heavy army right now. I mean, he's got 23 Marines on the field right now.
And, you know, I'm very interested to see how this is going to play out. Normally, like I keep stating, you normally see Marauders, but this is going to be a Marine Ghost army.
Yeah. Of course, it's always fun, though, if you can bury that Ghost right in the middle of Marines so they can't target them, and you just drop an EMP right in the middle of the Protoss army. So maybe that's what he'll be looking to do.
Yeah, and it's important to note this is post-patch, so that means that the EMP radius is reduced, and all these upgrades that Clayster has been chrono boosting out are now cheaper.
Yeah, you see ground weapons 1 just about to finish there. It's about 2/3 the way done. Stimpack coming out, of course, makes sense when you've got as many Marines on the field as Ditto has. And looks like he's working on another barracks, so he's sitting on 5 racks right now.
Yeah, Clayster's army is about to reach 1-1 status. While these Marines are still technically 0-0, they do have Combat Shield, and in another minute or 2 they will have STEM, which is going to help, but Clayster does have the upgrade advantage. If we go to the units tab, we're looking at 33 Marines and 1 Ghost in that mix.
Yeah, actually, 2nd Ghost just coming out right now, and that Ghost is leading the charge as Ditto's sending his Marines. But you can see there, Clayster's got an observer that's tracking the whole group, so he knows exactly what's coming.
If Clayster is aware of this, he's going to be able to position his army. I don't really feel this push is really doing too much damage. He has enough sentries that he can wall this off.
Yep, sitting on 10 Zealots, 4 sentries, and 6 Stalkers right now. See the scan going down.
And you know, the reason this Ghost may be leading is that right there. He did EMP that 1 sentry, so now it's down to no energy. But he's going to lose that Ghost, and that really was not maybe the best thing to EMP.
Yeah, it took out the shields of the Zealots as well, but I mean, at this point, it's basically been an even trade with units lost here so far, and looks like Clayster should be able to repel this group without too much trouble.
Yeah, but you know one thing Zealots are great for, and that's slicing through Marines.
Exactly right. He just keeps streaming those Marines up the field there. You can see they're got another smaller group, and he's finally pulling them back.
Yeah, the Marines are being pulled back. That was a really bad engagement on Ditto's part. He is down about 700 minerals now if you go to the Units Lost tab.
Yep, we see ground weapons 2 and ground armor 2 coming out for Clayster, and a Colossus finally on its way. So he saw that Ditto was going for a Marine heavy army, and he wants to pick the counter up right away.
Yep,
actually, Clayster may be moving out with his army as well, trying to see if he can pick up any stragglers like that 1 Marine right there.
Yeah, this 1 Marine is just on patrol back and forth. This Ghost is going to move right into the army and die. All these Marines are going to have to be pulled back. That observer is still tracking them, so he knows the army's movements.
And not even an EMP before that Ghost went down, so really just a total loss there. Terran Infantry Weapons 1 coming out, and looks like some Marauders finally on the way there.
Yep, Marauders are on the way, Concussion Shells on the way. Ditto is kind of getting the sneaky expansion here, a little off the beaten path. but that might be too little too late if this army pushes in with a really hard push. Ditto's going to lose
and
quite
he's got
a bit.
a pylon coming down, too, right near his base, so he'll be warping in units very shortly. That Colossus is on the move as well, making its way down the map towards Ditto's base. And right now, looking at their army size, you can see that Ditto's only got 20, well, he's actually at 22 Marines right now and 4 Marauders, and Clayster sitting on his 10 Zealots, his Colossus, and 9 Stalkers. He's got the sentries there as well, so should be looking probably to engage pretty quickly before Ditto has a chance to rebuild his forces.
Yep, we do have a Zealot charge and the extended range for the Colossus on the way. Protoss player is sitting at 3 bases. He's in a very comfortable situation, really. He has the Terran player contained, he's getting all the upgrades he wants.
Yeah, and he certainly had a jump start on those ground upgrades, which is going to be pretty critical even with the combat shields there. And probably just sitting to wait until that extended thermal lance comes out. Well, maybe not. Just grouping his units up there. And right now, Ditto definitely entrenched with those couple of bunkers. He's got a pretty solid group of infantry there, sitting on 33 Marines now. Maybe moving out a little bit.
Marines
checking the scout around.
Moving out, and that observer is still there, so he knows where this army is.
Oh, pylon gets taken out.
Here comes the engagement. These Zealots are going to be walking in. All these units are going to get trapped behind these force fields, and the Colossus is picking up so many units.
There.
And there's the GG from Ditto. The whole army was picked apart like it was nothing.
And now we have a tie, so we will be going to a third game.